How we doing, everybody, and welcome into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, coming back here on a Friday night. I got Aaron with me tonight here. Aaron, how we doing on this Friday? Big weekend ahead of us.
Can't complain, right? Can't complain. Week went actually pretty fast. I don't know about you. I feel like this week kind of went fast. But we're obviously awaiting one special game, but there'll be a lot of games going on in all realms, obviously.
If you haven't figured it out yet, Aaron is alluding to that fantastic matchup between Wisconsin and Penn State that we have coming up this weekend. We can't wait to get into that one tonight. We have a big game starting up, or big series starting up tonight here with the Yankees and Dodgers. So we want to talk a little World Series. We want to look at some of the Bucks highlights over the past couple games, look at what they've been doing, and then we're going to get Badgers and Penn State. We're going to look at the Packer game. We're going to look all over the landscape tonight and see what's going on in college football and in the NFL tonight here. So, Aaron, right away, let's look at this World Series matchup. We have the Dodgers, we have the Yankees, we have the two blue bloods, right? That's the only way to put it. We have the big money markets in the World Series. This is what MLB wanted. Some fans, I guess you could say, wanted this one. You have your big-time players against your big-time players. What are you thinking about this series here? Who do you like maybe in there? And, game one tonight here, what are we thinking?
I can make a case for the Yankees, honestly, the way I look at this series, only because of the pitching, right? I think the pitching advantage goes to the Yankees pretty handily. I mean, I know the Dodgers bullpen is quite solid, but the Yankees bullpen outside of Clay Holmes' inconsistencies is pretty good too. And then like the starting pitching, I mean, obviously when you have a guy like Garrett Cole going game one, there are not many better pitchers in baseball. I mean, now on the flip side, the Dodgers have the more stacked lineup. Yankees are more top heavy, obviously with Judge and Soto. I am a little bit worried for the Dodgers' sake. Just kind of getting through these first couple of games. I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinion on that, but like Flaherty, I don't know. It could be the good Flaherty, it could be the bad Flaherty game one, and then you have Yamamoto going game two, which I I don't have much confidence there. I just don't. I mean, unless he proves me otherwise. That's my fear. Top to bottom, I think the Dodgers are better, like I said, in the lineup. They're a better fielding team. They're just a better overall, like outside of the pitching, I think the Dodgers are better. But I've always been a proponent, good pitching beats good hitting, especially in the playoffs. So I picked Dodgers in 6 because I simply can't pick the Yankees. But if you're the Dodgers, you gotta come out of this 1-1. You can't go down because that atmosphere in Yankee Stadium is gonna be electric. And you can't go down 0-2 and then have to go all the way to the Bronx and find a way to tie up that series.
Yeah, and Garrett Cole, he's a been here, done that guy. He's been to this position before. So having him as your safety blanket in game one, if you're the Yankees, you love that. I would say the biggest thing for me for the Yankees would be Aaron Judge has struggled. He has struggled to get going in this postseason. For the Yankees to have that success, I think they got to have Aaron Judge play a good series here. He struggled throughout this whole playoffs to this point here. Rizzo hasn't been terrible. He hasn't played in all the games, but he hasn't been terrible. Juan Soto's looked good. It's Aaron Judge that I think might hold this lineup back because you look lineup to lineup, you like the Dodgers more than you like the Yankees, but it's top heavy with the Yankees. If Judge is going, Soto, Giancarlo Stanton's been hitting bombs left and right. We had a guy on here the other night. He said Stantonian home runs is what he called it. He wanted to see some more of those. So you're watching for those key things in this game here. I'm going to say I like the Dodgers just because of the lineup. Like I like the lineup, I would say, better with the Dodgers. Pitching wise, I like the Yankees. I just think offense is going to outweigh the opposition here, and I think the Dodgers will take this series at some point. But this is going to be a good game one. It's going to be, Jack Flaherty, 7.04 ERA in the playoffs, 1-2 record. Hasn't pitched very good, but at the same time, it's done good enough, I guess you could say. So I don't know. If you had to predict now, 7-game series here, does it go all 7? I mean, if it goes all 7, we're going to be talking about something that usually doesn't happen ever with the NBA, the NFL, all your major sports on the same day, something that usually doesn't happen. So what are you thinking in this one? 7 games here. Who you got?
I keep thinking Dodgers in 6 for some reason. That just like feel. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-game series. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep. I definitely don't think that. If it goes 7, I still roll Dodgers. Like I said, I'm going against my formula here for success. I always take pitching over good hitting, but like I said, I can never. I don't care if the Yankees are playing the worst team that we've ever seen come out of the NL. Just can't pull for them. Can't even pick them. So yeah, Dodgers get it done. I think, like you said, I mean, Aaron Judge. Historically, Aaron Judge in the playoffs hasn't been not even close. He's a shell of himself. That'll be an interesting storyline in the World Series. Will he emerge as the guy? I mean, we saw A-Rod struggle in the playoffs for quite some time, and then, famously his last, the last World Series the Yankees win, he just goes bonkers. So yeah, I mean, if you're the Yankees fan, you're looking for Aaron Judge to emerge. Stanton's one of the best postseason hitters of all time. If you look stats, statistically, which is kind of crazy because you kind of forget about him on that team with Soto and Judge there. But my question is more so, how is this bottom of the lineup for the Yankees? Are they going to show up, or are they going to be basically, just there? Like, are they just going to be, peons in the system? Because it's like, you got Anthony Volpe, you got Verdugo, you got, either Trevino, probably Austin Wells playing, catching for you. Like the supporting cast, how are they gonna Rizzo? Like, how are these guys gonna? Are they gonna come up big? Are they gonna come up small? That's because I think the Dodgers can put up the runs. I mean, we saw it against the Mets. There were games they put up more than 10 runs. Like it's not really a challenge most of the time for them. And the thing about you got to like about the Dodgers offense, they don't need the long ball. Certain teams need, like the Yankees kind of rely on the long ball. They can string hits together and just kind of single you to death, especially with Ohtani like that. You almost I mean, it's kind of crazy to say you forget he's there, but like the team has so many guys that like sometimes you do almost like, oh well, they still have Ohtani too. So it's I mean, yeah. Do you have are you leaning one way, or you kind of like this one feels like it could go? It feels special only because of the matchup. Like it is a star-studded. This is probably good for baseball every once in a while. We get this. Because if you're going to bring in eyeballs, this is the series that'll do it.
100%. 100%. You got the stars in here, right? You have the worldwide market. That's the biggest thing, too, is you have Shohei Ohtani's marketability over country to country at this point here. So this is what you wanted for viewership. It's not just all about who in Wisconsin is watching this World Series. It's about who in Japan is watching this, who in, all over the place, right? So it's going to be something there. I saw a quote by Brian Cashman. He said, I hate the 15-year thing. It completely forgets and discounts that some other organizations cheated us when we were going all the way in the end. Shut up. Just shut up.
Come on. Yeah, come on.
No, done with that. Done with that. Yeah, it was a loss. Yes, the Astros were doing some things in between the lines there that they shouldn't have been, but stop.
You don't bring that up, man, right?
Explain the rest of it then. Explain the rest of it with the open checkbook and everything. Explain the rest of it to me, because it was one season. And the Astros have been there how many times since then? They've been to the ALCS since then how many times? I mean, yes, I'm not condoning what they did, but there's a lot bigger of a storyline there than just one season. If you want to blame that one season, be my guest. Just be my guest on that one, I guess. So, I mean, we're both kind of sounds like leaning Dodgers in this series here, but we'll see. I mean, Yankees haven't been here in a while, and they're pumped up. They're excited. They're ready to go win a series. Like, it's two evils, man. It's two evils, and we just got to accept at the end of the day that somebody's going to win it. I don't know if anybody, LA, like California, LA is maybe, watching this. Yankee fans are watching this, but the rest of the United States is like, whatever happens, happens. We really don't care. Like, we really don't care at the end of the day.
It's, I did see, I don't know, how do you feel about something like this? Is the Yankees were taking batting, I think it was yesterday. They were taking batting practice in full uniform, which is like, that's just, I guess I can respect like their kind of visual, it's one of those like, I'm not gonna go say manifestation things, but you know what I mean? It's like, all right, we're gonna be in our like we're gonna do everything like the game. I thought that was kind of like, of course the Yankees would, right? Like it would, no other team probably would. or the Dodgers. Like it would be a
Yep.
Yankee or Dodger thing. Like you're not seeing the Brewers go out there game one all suited up. Like I just don't. I think they'd keep it casual, But I saw that. I was like, but I'm glad you brought that Cashman quote up because that's come on, man. That's so. But and the fact that like you're living in the past as far as that's concerned because it's like, dude, move on. Like you didn't have to bring that. Like you took it upon yourself to make a headline and whatever. But that's your sort. I get it. You got cheated. I understand it, but it's you had a lot of years, like you said. There's a lot of years in between then, and I don't know. To my knowledge, they didn't cheat in Yankee Stadium, so I don't know. That's just Bush League, but that's the Yankees for you.
It's the Yankees. At the end of the day, it's the Yankees. It's two evils in this one, and we can't wait for the series to get started and just get over with, right? We just want to get to the offseason. We're Philly and Brewer fans. We're just like, bring on the offseason, baby. We're done with this crap.
Pitchers and catchers, right? Like
pitchers and catchers report in February. That's what I keep telling myself, right? That's what we have to keep telling ourselves here. So let's get off the World Series. We're done with the World Series. We don't care that much. We got the Bucks in action tonight. They're taking on the Bulls, 1-0. They came off that win against the Philadelphia 76ers there, 124-109. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. You didn't really get, you're a Philly fan. You didn't get the full effect of what the 76ers could be at some point, but you still played, well. It wasn't like it was a bad game. Tyrese Maxey played well in this one for you. Dame goes for 30. Tyrese had 28 for him there. I thought the big storyline for the Bucks was Taurean Prince steps in. Chris Middleton's out. Taurean Prince comes in, gives you 16 points, 4 for 5 from downtown. This is a guy who the Bucks expect to come off the bench for him later on this season, but seeing him step into the starting role now and deliver that kind of performance, you love that. Giannis goes for 25, Dame for 30, like I said. Gary Trent gives you 11 there, and Brook Lopez with 10. He had a struggling shooting night there. But all in all, I liked what I saw out of the Bucks in this one. You have Bobby Portis with 16 off the bench. You love those stats across the board. What did you see, I guess, from your 76ers there that you liked, maybe didn't like in this one?
Yeah, obviously, this is a depleted team, like, we're at the moment. And this whole, like, Joel Embiid thing is getting – I'm not going to say it's getting old already, but, like, it is. Because it's just, like, the guy is fragile. He just is. He's a 7-footer, and he's fragile. So – you gotta love, like, Maxey is just like, he's a stud, right? Like he's been there, done, like, he's proven by now. Outside of that, this offseason they didn't do a whole lot, which I kind of scratch my head at. I don't really know what we're kind of in limbo now. Like, this team's not gonna, in my opinion, they're not gonna compete for a championship with this current roster. You bring in Andre Drummond, so what? Yeah, that doesn't really, lift your skirt up or anything like that,
Paul George, but available.
Yeah, but outside of that, yeah, exactly. And like, just the fact, he's going to play in a couple games here. I just don't know. I still think even with Paul George, they're in no man's land. I just, like, not to be a Debbie Downer, like, they'll be a good team. I at least expect them to be, but they're not going to be. This team's not going to knock out the Celtics in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, let's get real. So yeah, hopefully it's a decent regular season. That's all I can really. The game they played, some good, some bad. Defensively, I have my questions for sure. Nick Nurse, I don't know. I like Nick Nurse. I just don't know. With this current, like I say, I just kind of keep going back to the roster, the bench. It's just underwhelming to me. So I don't know. It's not a lot to get ecstatic about. You can be a little bit like, oh, it's, NBA's back, the Sixers are back, but it's like, there's no Jimmy. Like, if they brought in, like, Jimmy Butler on top of Paul George or something, now there's, a case to be made. But I just felt like the offseason outside of Jimmy Butler, or outside of Paul George, excuse me, I don't know.
It's an availability question for the 76ers right now, because you don't know how much you're going to get out of Joel Embiid. You don't know what you're going to get with Paul George. They're playing for the postseason, essentially. Those two are. So it's going to be something to watch. Defensively for the Bucks, I know you touched defensively for the 76ers there. Looking at the Bucks, Players shot 5 for 18 when guarded by Taurean Prince in this last game here. Players shot 6 for 18 when guarded by Damian Lillard, which is something because Dame isn't that great a defender usually, but 6 for 18. And then players shot 7 for 19 when guarded by Gary Trent Jr. Something that the Bucks lacked in was defense out of the guard position. In this one, pretty good. I mean, pretty solid night there. Now, it could have also been a little bit of a colder shooting night for the 76ers. You look at it from both sides there, but you like what you're seeing. I mean, you like what you're seeing if you're a Bucks fan. The pieces that you brought in, more or less role players, guys to play along your stars like Giannis and Dame and Middleton when he's healthy. But you like what you saw in game one there. So great stuff there. They got the Bulls coming up tonight here, and then I believe they got one more on the weekend there. They're going to be, let's see here. I just had it up. They got the Bulls, and then they have the Nets. You have the Nets. You have the Bulls coming up tonight here, and then on Sunday you have the Nets. So you have a little bit of a stretch here where you got some winnable games if you are the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you have that test right away, the Celtics, day after you play the Brooklyn Nets. Maybe Chris Middleton's back for that game. I keep saying maybe because you never know with Chris Middleton if he's actually going to play, but we'll see. We'll see with that one there. So a little bit of a Bucks just to top us off there. I want to get into the Badgers, Penn State, because that's why we're here, Aaron. We love to talk. We always talk Badgers, right? We always talk Badgers, but now we get to talk about Badgers, Penn State here. So is this my opening question, I guess I want to say here? Is this a trap game? Because I hear some people say it's not a trap game. I hear some people say it's a trap game. What do you think? You're a Penn State guy. You're coming to this one, third-ranked team in the country. It's a night game in Camp Randall. You have Ohio State, your big brother right now, right? Ohio, you guys can't get over that bugaloo, right? So, I mean, you got big brother standing on the backside there, Big Red. Is this a trap game for the Penn State Nittany Lions heading into this one?
It's so, defined. If you define a trap, it's weird, right? That's where I'm kind of at now because I've heard so much about it too. Is it a trap game? Is it not a trap game? It's a game in which I don't know. A trap game to me is maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna say Purdue's a trap. Purdue, if you lose to Purdue, that's not even a trap. You're just bad, right? You're just piss poor. So I'm gonna give Wisconsin more credit than they're right outside the top 25. They're not in the top 25. I understand that, but the way they've been playing lately, you have to tip your cap to them. So I guess I'll say it is a trap game in sorts. In some aspects, it's a scary game. I think it's an unknown game because of Penn State doesn't really operate well off of bye weeks under the Franklin era. So that is the elephant in the room on this one. And that's what scares me a little bit. I'm not a big fan of this 2 bye week thing in college football. I understand it, but it sucks. I'll say that it sucks. I don't like it. But yeah, that place, as you know, you'll be there. You'll have to get some footage there because just firsthand footage. Why not, right? But
oh yeah,
I don't know. This is gonna sound negative, but I wish it kind of was a little bit early. Not even for the Penn State sake. Just I'm gonna be kind of nervous all day. It's just gonna be okay, when's the game? Come on, how many more hours is the game? But it'll set up for a great environment. That's what you hope for, and that's what you'll get there. So yeah, it's I'm nervous for it. I really am. I've become more nervous every day, and tomorrow I'll probably be a nervous wreck. So it's a Big Ten, under the lights, a lot of eyeballs will be on this one. So it's setting up for a really good game, I think. And there's I'm sure we'll get into it, but the strengths of Wisconsin versus the strengths of Penn State, the matchups will really be interesting in this one from both sides.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm still mapping out how I can get down to the field fast enough to when we storm the field after the game. I still got to map that thing out. When I get there, I'm going to visualize it, be like, okay, I got to push this person out of the way. I'm going to have to go around this guy, maybe around this hot dog guy, and then go down, right? I got to map it out. I got to map it out when I get there. I can't wait to get down there. I can't wait to get down there. It's homecoming. The atmosphere is going to be buzzing. It is just, like you said, setting up for a big time game. Can't wait for it to get here. I've been waiting all week, right? It's it started as nervousness. And then it's like, okay, I want this game to be here. I want to see what Wisconsin can do against a premier opponent in Penn State, because this is a good Penn State team coming into town. We saw Alabama come in. We went to USC. We saw that game. Wisconsin has changed a little bit since those matchups there, and I think they learned a lot about themselves in those losses that I think will translate to some things in this game here. So I can't wait for this matchup. Let's dive right into it. So the biggest thing that I look at when I look at this game against Penn State is the Wisconsin needs to eliminate the mistakes. They need to try and minimize what goes wrong for them in this game, right? Pre-snap penalties, something, the controllables, I guess you can say, is the pre-snap penalties, the bad decisions by Braden Locke. You cannot be making these ill-advised throws where it's like I'm trying to force it to a guy, or I made the mistake and, Will Pauling was supposed to do this slant route and I thought in the back of my head he was going somewhere else, so now I made this throw. Some of those mistakes, the human error mistake, I guess you could say, need to be avoided in this game if you're Wisconsin, because if you make those mistakes, this is going to be a lot tougher, right? The pre-snap penalties, setting yourself back on early downs, that's going to be rough in this one. Just the mental side of the game for me is what Wisconsin has to control here, and keeping the fans in the game, right? I mean, you're coming into a hostile environment in Camp Randall. You need to keep the fans engaged in that game. If Penn State walks down the field, scores on the opening drive, and then next time out, Wisconsin goes 3-and-out, you're already setting yourself up. I mean, it's already in a bad situation. Wisconsin needs to settle it in early, start fast, and find a way to get over the top of that hump that is Penn State's defense early in this game and kind of put them on their heels, right? That's a big thing we always talk about, put the opposing defense on their heels. That's what Wisconsin's got to do in this game here. They got to put them on their heels in this one. Like I said before, forcing the ball. Don't force the big plays. Don't force the big plays to happen. Stick with what's got you to this point, right? What's got you to 5-2. That's Tyree Walker. Tyree Walker playing fantastic football. The offensive line opening up holes for you. Now I get, throughout a game, things are going to change, right? All of a sudden, Penn State's going to start loading the box because Tyree Walker's just having himself a first quarter, right? They're going to start loading up the box. Okay, now you spread it out. Now you try to take that deep shot. When they start loading up that box there, send Vinny Anthony over the top. Do something crazy with it. Avoid the mistakes in the big plays. Don't try to force that kind of stuff to happen in this one. I mean, Aaron, looking at this thing from a Penn State fan's perspective, what are some of those things that you're looking at Penn State coming into this matchup that you're like, they got to avoid this, because if they do this, this is going to be a dicey.
Yeah, kind of it really goes hand in hand, like lockstep with what you just said as far as the slow starts. That's what Penn State has been doing kind of all season outside of West Virginia. West Virginia was kind of an anomaly, and I thought, when I watched the West Virginia game, I was like, oh my God, this offense might be like a clinic this year. And in some aspects they can be, but they don't. It's hard for them to fully put it together till the second half for whatever reason that is. I don't quite know, and I don't love playing the game like everybody's like, oh my God, they make the best second half adjustments. Well, if we didn't play as kind of piss poor in the first half, we wouldn't have to make vast adjustments, right? That's my kind of like, I'm grateful that they do. Don't get me wrong, that that's winning them games, but eventually that catches up to you. That's not a recipe that I fall in love with there. So on the Penn State side of things, it's going to be a hostile environment. If you can get the running game going early and kind of keep Wisconsin's offense on the sideline, we always talk about that, no matter if it's the NFL, the Packers, the Eagles, it doesn't matter, anybody that we're kind of breaking it down. But especially in college, you and I know how crazy college football atmospheres are, and it's unlike the NFL. It's unlike anything really. Maybe we can compare it to our favorite sport there, soccer, I guess, right? But but not even in my. We're just college football enthusiasts. So yeah, that place will be by 7:30. Everybody's got a couple cold ones in their system. That the place is going to be shaking for sure. I thought after the USC game, it gave me confidence, but I don't like this whole layover thing with the bye week and everything going on. So yeah, long story short, it's really sticking to just keeping the offense on the field. Trying to control at least the time of possession, and I don't want to see them go into halftime down more than 7. I really don't, just because crazy things can happen. And I think forcing turnovers from the Wisconsin quarterback, that's key. Your running game, I don't foresee us completely stopping that. I mean, it's really stopped the bleeding type of deal with that. If you let the quarterback beat you, you're going to lose. Like you can't let the passing attack beat you on top of the running game. I think the running game will gash us at certain points in the game. I look for the defense to clamp down the passing game. And like I said, just kind of not start out horrible. Like just start out relatively well, go into half without a big deficit. I mean, they were down to USC 20-6 at half. I was full on like, we're going to lose this game. I don't care what the adjustments are, but you can't do that week in and week out. You just can't, especially on the road. You can't. So.
Yeah, 100%. And you're talking about slowing down that run game for Wisconsin and kind of trying to make Braden Locke make decisions out there. That's where I key in on that offensive line for Wisconsin. You got to be able to open up holes for Tyree Walker and also pass protect, right? You don't want Braden Locke going into this game thinking, holy crap, there's somebody coming on my backside every single play. So it's going to be a lot on Wisconsin here. There's a couple good edge rushers there from Penn State. It's going to be a lot on the tackles for Wisconsin there, kind of trying to keep them out of the backfield. I know Abdul there. I think I pronounced his name right there. Abdul?
Yeah, Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. I mean, that guy is phenomenal. Like, he's going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Like, he is just a phenomenal defensive end for Penn State. So finding a way to kind of keep him at bay in this game is going to be key for Wisconsin, and give Tyree Walker time, give Braden Locke time to make those throws. You got to let some of this stuff develop out there. So that's going to be controlling the trenches on both sides for Wisconsin, because you just mentioned there the run game for Penn State. You got a double-headed monster in there, right? They don't just give it to one guy, they give it to two guys, and both of them are impressive. So you got to be able to find a way, if you're Wisconsin's front, which if you look at the stats, their front isn't great. And I mean, the stats will tell you that. A lot of Penn State podcasts will tell you that Wisconsin's run defense doesn't work, right? Their run defense isn't that bad. It's actually gotten better over the past couple weeks there. Elijah Hills has taken a big step forward there. There's a couple different guys throughout there for Wisconsin. Poose, I believe Poose has been playing a lot better for Wisconsin on the offensive line, or on not the offensive line, the defensive line for the Badgers there. Also, guys like Peterson stepping in. You got Yaheem Thomas on the backside there in the linebackers, and then Jake Chaney has stepped up in some roles there. So it's going to be something there for Wisconsin to control the trenches in this one, kind of set that tempo, right? You got to set the pace of the game, the tempo of this one. Wisconsin, I mean, I know I've mentioned it before, but when they won that game against Ohio State, when they were #1 in the country back in 2010, the stats, the way that John Clay and this offensive line were able to create holes and just pound it through there, I mean, that was something of master class. So that's something I want to see out of Wisconsin in this one. Don't abandon the run. Just because Penn State loves to throw it around a little bit, don't get crazy with it and try and match them. Don't go match for match. We don't need to try to match what Penn State does. We need to play our own brand of football and win it on our terms, right? So that's something I'm watching there. I know I can't remember that Penn State offensive coordinator. What's his name?
Andy Kotelicki.
Kotelicki.
Something like Kotelicki. Yeah, I can. It's tomato.
A little wild of a name there, but he loves the wild play, right? He's got a wild last name. He loves to draw up some wild plays. All of a sudden, a tackle will be out there with the wide receivers, right? Or he's got 45 tight ends and 25 running backs on the field, it seems like, right? He's just got loaded up different kinds of sets, and all of a sudden, the tight ends and the running backs are all out, and they're setting up outside as receivers. So that's something, Tressel alluded to it. He said that they're going to throw a lot of weird packages at him, and you're going to have to just play through it. You're going to have to find a way to play through it there. Play. I keep saying play. Play fast, play your game. That's a big thing that I'm watching for with this Wisconsin defense. Don't get sucked into the weird stuff, right? They're going to throw this at you with the tackle outside, and it's going to have nothing to do with what they want to do. It's just going to be a look that they're trying to distract you with. Play your game. The thing that might hurt the Badgers when they run, let's just say that, 4 tight ends come out on the field and there's 2 backs out there, and all of a sudden they spread them out wide. Okay, now if Wisconsin set up where they brought in a defensive package to kind of match that package there. Now it might set you in a bad situation with your coverage. If they do throw a bunch of tight ends out there and all of a sudden you got linebackers trying to cover them and maybe you don't have a couple good cover linebackers that you're throwing in there, that's something that might hurt Wisconsin. So it's going to be a chess match, right? That's what you love about good college football games is chess matches. I think this one is going to end up being that kind of style there because, I mean, we talked about it on your show not too long ago there. You know, this game here, it's not going to be decided by 14 points. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think this game is going to be what the spread says, 6.5. It's going to be in that range right there, maybe even less. I think the Badgers are going to win by 3 points, right? You said the Badgers or the Penn State's going to win by 7. I could see it going either way. I really could. I could see the Badgers winning this game. I could see Penn State winning this game. I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. So I think, honestly, this game's going to come down to who makes the who makes the least amount of mistakes, controllable mistakes throughout this game, limiting the turnovers, limiting those pre-snap penalties. That's something that's going to kill Wisconsin if they allow it. And, you know, I talked about it just before. Shooting yourself in the foot. I don't think that Penn State can control this game on all 3 levels. I don't think that they can control every side of the ball. I don't think they can. Unless if Wisconsin allows it, right? Unless if Wisconsin shoots themselves in the foot on the offensive side of the ball or their defense, their secondary all of a sudden implodes, right? They have a very good secondary in Wisconsin. I think it's going to test what Penn State can do with those weapons that they have. They love Warrens, right? Warrens is the big tight end. He's got all the receptions. He's got all the yards. I'm kind of curious to see what Wisconsin does with him. You know, a lot of talk was, okay, Wooler's going to be over there. And then you're going to have another guy on him. You're going to try to bottle him up. Okay, if Wooler goes on him, that takes away a lot of what Tressel wants to do with different looks with Wooler, even in a blitz, or if he's, you know, just helping in the run game, whatever it is. So I want to see what Tressel does. If he does stick to that kind of game plan where Wooler's constantly over there, maybe he throws like an Austin Brown over there. I'm interested to see what Tressel does with Warrens in this game because we know it. Penn State fans know it. Illinois fans know it, right? USC knows it because Warrens had like 9,000 catches against USC. Everybody knows that Warrens is the guy. What does Wisconsin do to stop him in this game? So I guess, you know, Aaron, I've talked a lot about keys for Wisconsin. What are some of your keys for Penn State in this game here that they have to do to win this game on the road in Wisconsin, in Camp Randall here?
Yeah, I think kind of on the flip side of that, the Warrens point, more receivers have to step up, right? Like Julian Fleming, he stepped up last week against USC, really when they needed him to. I mean, for 3 quarters, he was MIA, like kind of how he's been all year. Liam Clifford, you know, the brother to the great Sean Clifford, right? You know Sean Clifford over there.
Oh, yeah.
For a little bit, you know him for a little bit, and then he's gone up to the wayside. But, yeah, I mean, those second-tier guys, right? Like Trey Wallace is the number 1 good receiver. You know, a little bit inconsistent the last couple weeks. He showed up big earlier in the season. Now I'm looking to see what he can do in this matchup, right? I mean, it does scare me. Certain things do scare me about, you know, Wisconsin's defensive backfield and things like that. Now, I did find a little bit of a stat there against shoot, let me see if I can pull it right back up here. Oh, great. I'll find it in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think getting like it was in relation to getting pressure on Braden Locke. He's like 9 for 24 under pressure or something like, you know, I mean, no quarterback's good under pressure. So, but that's like my thing that I'm interested on is can Penn State get pressure against? Because I mean, we always know Wisconsin, just like their cheese, they have big offensive linemen. That's just a staple of the Badgers, it seems like. And it's been like that for as long as I remember. Good running game and good offensive line. That's just some staples there. Excuse me, of the Badgers. So can they put pressure on him? Like I'm not scared to death that he can beat Penn State's defense consistently, or I even think Penn State can bait him into a turnover or 2. I worry that if they can't get pressure and then it's the, you know, okay, here comes the run game, here comes the pass, where it's like you're on your heels and you don't know what's coming because you're not getting pass rush. That's where I'm concerned. So I think you have to at least get pass rush. And like I said, you can't let Wisconsin run the ball all day down your throat. That is recipe for. That's when the passing game opens up, right? That's when Braden Locke's going to get more and more comfortable in the pocket. It's just like basic football 101, but it really applies here because I know Wisconsin's going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to get in a good tempo and, get the crowd more and more into it, keep Penn State's defense out there, have guys coming in and out, subbing in and out. Just, okay, now Penn State's on their heels. Now what do they do? So, like, if you're Penn State, you can't allow Tyree Walker to get like 200 yards against you because that, like I said, just sets up a recipe for disaster. I think Drew Aller can pick and choose his spots here. It's going to be challenging. I'm not going to say it's not. It's just on the flip side, can Penn State run the ball to get Drew Aller in a good rhythm and a good footing at Camp Randall? Because the last thing you want to do is like Penn State doesn't win when not to say Aller can't do it, but their recipe for success is not Aller throwing the ball 40 times. So if Wisconsin's stuffing the run, then Warren, like there's a lot that goes in. Like this game there's so many little things that are going to make a big difference. It's just who executes, who when they line up against each other, what's it look like. I'm not going to say there's like pressure on Luke Fickell because really it's a game that they're not picked to win or anything, but like this would be I hate to say it makes me sick to say, but it makes, if he does win this game, you look at it like a marquee win. It's the number 3 team in the nation, no matter how you feel about, is Penn State number 3 or not? They are, by the ranking system. So it's no little thing, right? It's no little thing. I don't know where I should know where College Game Day is, but that would be cool too.
Indiana and
that's right.
Washington.
That's right. Yeah, we talked about that before. Damn it. But they should at least send like a second tier crew to Wisconsin, that type of deal, because it's gonna be fun. Penn State travels well, much like Michigan, Ohio State, like the bigger the bigger Big Ten programs. Oregon, those people travel well, so you'll see some blue and white for sure, and it'll be cool. It'll every time, I swear to God, Trajan, every time we play Wisconsin, it's a dogfight. The last game was 16-10. And Wisconsin was traveling down the field to potentially, win that game. So it's never easy. And like I remember, I doubt you want to remember, but that Big Ten championship, I think it was the biggest comeback in history. But like that was it took everything. Like it's never a cakewalk. And like these other Penn State podcasters might be underestimating Wisconsin, but I am not right now. And yeah, it's I wanted to get here and I don't. That's the same. Like you're kind of in a better position with that because if God forbid you lose, it's like, well, not the end of the world. Where if we lose, it is kind of it shapes up to be the end of the world. So
I agree. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's the menu down there.
What's the menu? Some
cheese related. We get the food and drinks included with our seats and stuff like that. So I know my wife knows. I just messaged her real fast. I want to see what we got. Is
that a far trek down there? I don't know where in relation.
It's about 2.5, 3 hours for me from where I'm at. I'm in the center of Wisconsin there, so it's a decent hike to get down there for a night game. But
yeah.
I mean, you love it. Yeah, I'm going for the atmosphere. I want to experience the atmosphere of Penn State coming to town. I could see if the Badgers win this game and they win that game against Iowa, they're probably going to be like, I would say like 16 or 15 in the nation around that point there. So you have number 1 Oregon then that following week in Camp Randall. I could see possibly, College Game Day thinking about that game. I don't know if they have the schedule set that far ahead, but I could see something like that possibly happen. But, you mentioned a great point. I'm waiting for the menu text to come back here so I can tell you what's on the menu. But, you mentioned what I had as one of my keys. Make Drew Aller beat you. Make him win the game. Don't let the backs for Penn State run wild. If you control the run game for Penn State, I would be scared if I was a Penn State, because now you're putting that all on Drew Aller to do this by himself, right? To make the throws. He's going to have to, if the Badgers can slow down that run game, right? And maybe they box up Warrens for a little while. Okay, who's next up? Is it Wallace, right? Is Wallace going to make the plays? Who's going to make the plays for me now, right? Warrens is the big play guy for you. And then your backs do most of the heavy lifting. Who's that next guy up? So I am very intrigued to see what Tressel throws at Penn State in this game, just like Tressel is worried about what Penn State's going to throw at him. I'm intrigued what he's going to throw back at him. So that's one of the things that I'm watching in this one. We mentioned it before, Abdul Carter coming off the edge there. We got to see good games out of Jack Nelson and Riley Molman, two of the guys there on the Badgers offensive line. Those are two guys that have to play big for Wisconsin to, slow him down. He's their big machine. He's the guy who makes the tackles. He's got like 8.5 sacks on the year. Like he's that kind of guy. So you got to watch out for him there. If I'm the Badgers, I'm taking chances. I'm taking chances in this game. 4th and 1 on on Penn State's 45-yard line. You better be going for it. Do it. Just do it. Just be ballsy, right? Just be ballsy for one time. Don't run it out of shotgun. Please do not run a 4th and 1 run play out of shotgun. I will walk from my seat up there in Section W. I will walk down to the field, and I will kick Luke Fickell square in his a-hole just myself. That's what I'll do. If he runs it on 4th and 1, I will go down. I will take Phil Longo's head and his head, and I'll just hit them together. That's what I'll do. I'll just be that.
Now I really want it to happen. Now I have to.
You'll be like watching on TV, and all of a sudden NBC will be like, hold on, we have a stoppage in play. There's a fan on the field. Luke Fickell's down. Phil Longo's down. Some other guys got the headset on now.
I was going to say, you might just want to bring that headset, like just in case, like, you know what I mean? Maybe that you get the frequencies hooked up and stuff.
Boys, I'm in charge now. All right, we're going under center here. Let's go. Just madness. You got to create the madness, right? You got to create the madness. But that's something that I'm watching too, is to see if Wisconsin they take chances. Just take chances in this game, right? You're like you alluded to before. This is the number 3 team in the country coming in. You're not expected to win. You're not picked to win this game. Make some big plays. Make something happen in this game. Take shots. Do what you got to do. Be ballsy. And if it comes back to bite you, well, you hope it doesn't bite you that bad, right? If it's 27-24, you're driving down the field, I'm not asking you to take a shot. Like, I'm not asking for anything crazy then. But if it's 14-14, you're getting towards, like, you're in the 3rd quarter, you're at Penn State's 41-yard line, and it's 4th and 1. Run that baby. Run the rock. Straight ahead. Not in shotgun, under center. Give Tyree Walker a little bit of a push there, straight through. Like, that's something I'm watching for in this one. A guy I'm watching in this one, Darian Dupree. He's coming out of the backfield there. Not Tyree Walker, Dupree in this one. He's a very, talented back, right? A talented back of the future for Wisconsin, but he's very good in the pass game. I want to see Wisconsin utilize that ability that he has in that passing game in this game, because the last couple weeks he's been playing well for Wisconsin, and when he has in that receiving room, he's been doing well. So I want to see Dupree get involved in the offense there. Keep the crowd involved in this game, right? We always talk about crowd noise, everything like that. Keep them involved. Start hot, start steady, keep the crowd engaged. That's what you got to do in this one here. And last but not least, avoid getting beat deep. Right? Don't let Penn State beat you over the top. When Alabama beat you, it was big plays. USC beat you, it was big plays. Avoid being beat over the top there. Keep it in front of you. Gang tackle, whatever you got to do in this one. Those are some of the big keys in this one for me. Aaron, I have a 27-24 Wisconsin win in this game against Penn State. What are you thinking on the backside there? What are you thinking as a Penn State fan coming into Camp Randall, hostile environment? What are you thinking?
I think, man, and I keep looking at like all these numbers, all these opinions, like, at some point you just got to trust your gut, I guess. You can't go against your gut. I say, what's a even score? Like a 34-27. Penn State barely covers the spread type deal. I think at some point there will be like back and forth scoring. I could see this being defensive at times for sure, but I think, there'll be a quarter or two where it's like, boom, Wisconsin hits you with one, boom, Penn State hits you with one. I hope to see some fireworks. Like, as much as I like a ground and pound game, nothing like an 80-yard bomb sometimes. That's just like bonkers, and in the environment and everything else. I look for, I don't think it's going to be at 14 or plus. There's people out there picking Penn State by 14 and stuff like that. I don't really see it. We've seen crazier things, but I just hope to kind of get out of there with a win. Like I said, it's a good Wisconsin team. They're playing hot right now. You're catching them at a time where they're definitely more confident than they were earlier in the season. And it's at the end of the day, it's Camp Randall. It's one of those places, right? It's like the big house, Camp Randall, Penn State. Ohio State. I mean, at times I think Cam Randall, it might be a hot take, but even though Ohio State seats more people, I think you can make a case that Wisconsin and some of these other schools are louder than Ohio State, but it's just the Ohio State hatred, because I think they're just so used to winning. It's like they don't have to get that hype. So maybe that's to their credit, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they televise jump around is awesome. Like I'm here for it, no matter Wisconsin fan or not. You gotta enjoy that. You gotta like enter the Sandman at Virginia Tech. There's just certain things about college football you're not getting that anywhere else. You're really not. As I watch the World Series, you're not getting that there. I mean, people want to say Red October with the Philly. Okay, it's good, yeah, but it's nothing like a Saturday in college. Like who's calling this game? Is this a Fox broadcast, right?
NBC. I don't even know who will be.
It doesn't matter for you, right? You're
yeah.
I would die to
be on the call. Who would
Gus
be on
Johnson
the call?
needs to be on this call, but he won't. Obviously, he's a Fox guy, but yeah, NBC not my first choice, but we'll accept it, I guess, right?
Let's see if we can't find it here real fast. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, and Catherine Tappan will be in Madison.
I'm partial to Blackledge. He was a Penn State quarterback, so
he's not bad. I mean, it's not a bad. It's not
no,
a bad
I like
group.
taking the bias out, like the Penn State. Like I enjoy him because he's just like he has enough, but it's not like Chris Collinsworth where it's I'm like shut up already. But
Patrick Mahomes is this and Patrick Mahomes is that.
My god! Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, I can't handle him. I got the menu. I got it here. So we got this is because I got it's a hospitality suite, I guess they call it there. So you get to go in early. I think the thing starts at like 4:30, like 4 o'clock there. You almost get in 2 hours before game time. Wow. And it's white cheddar mac and cheese. So some great mac and cheese there. You got some Italian beef, so shaved beef roast. Oh, goodness, right? Johnsonville brats. So the beef roast is on mini soft rolls, so you get to have like a sandwich there. You got Johnsonville brats with sauerkraut, brown mustard, brat rolls, caramelized onions if you want them. Just wow, right? And then you got some gourmet cookies in there. You got some gourmet cookies. And then even after kickoff of the game is at 6:30. And the menu for the event, you get, I mean, there's mac and cheese while the game's going on. You can get grilled pasta salad while the game's going on. Potato chips galore. Like, this all comes with the seats, man. This all comes with the seats. This is going to be, wow. You don't have tailgate. I don't have tailgate. I'm tailgating inside. I'm pretty sure this is inside the, if I'm not mistaken, it's like inside the field house or something like that. And then you actually go through the south end zone, and then you get to go up into your seat then. Like, this is, wow.
Living absolutely large.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait just to get there for the food, and then there's a game after it there, right? I'm going to walk in with a belt on my pants, and I'm going to have to unbutton the belt. I'm going to have the belt around my head. I'm going to be like, they're going to flash to me up in the crowd. You'll see me. I'll have a belt around my head. I'll look like I'm going to do karate or something out there. They'll be like, look at that guy. Like, he's fired up. He's not a rally cap. It's a rally belt. Like, he's got it around his head there. Like, I like this guy.
Gotta love it. Gotta get you on the NBC, bro. I mean, never know. Never know.
I never know. I'm gonna get out. Maybe I'll paint my belly or something. I'll paint my chest or something. I'll get on there. They'll point to me. I'll be like, yeah, let's go. Let's go, Badgers. Like, I can't wait. Should be a good one there. So great stuff there with Wisconsin. We got, college football coming up this weekend. Not a boatload of big games, I guess. I mean, there's some ranked matchups kind of mixed in there. We see Navy Notre Dame, 6-1 Notre Dame against 6-0 Navy. Who do we like? Who do we like in that game? Notre Dame favored by 13.5.
It's hard to I don't know. I don't want to say it insulting. It's hard to fully believe in Navy against a team like this, right? Notre Dame obviously in non-conference, is a non-conference team, but their strength of schedule is better than Navy's, right? Navy dominate Air Force, dominate, Charlotte there, UAB, Temple, right down there in Philly, but that's not a good team either. And then Bucknell. So unfortunately, I got to lean Notre Dame just because, it's the program, the pedigree, that type of thing, and the strength of schedule this year. They just kind of have all that going for them. I'll tell you this right now. I want Navy to win. I think Navy winning would be awesome for college football. I think it'd be awesome for the program in general. Like that would create some buzz. That helps with recruiting, stuff like that. A win like that absolutely will help you. But I mean, Notre Dame coming off a win last time out against Georgia Tech there. Stanford blowout. Louisville, actually a close game with Louisville, but really they haven't, and their only like marquee win was the first week of the season against Texas A&M, which is kind of surprising in some aspects you could look at because of how good Texas A&M has played. I don't know. I'm not in love with Riley Leonard. People kind of hype him up a little bit too much, in my opinion. He's not bad, but he can come unglued. That's for sure. He can come unglued. So if you're Navy, definitely if you can get after him, you have a shot. It's just, can Navy kind of do enough to weather the storm? Because they'll get hit in the mouth, I think, in this game. It's just, will they, get hit in the mouth and get up, or will they get kind of trampled and Notre Dame will have their way?
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think it's going to be 16.5 or whatever, 13.5, whatever the spread was there. I think Navy's going to keep it closer than that if they do lose this one. I like Navy. Give me Navy to win that one. I just like the story. I like the possibility of Army Navy being undefeated when they meet each other in the conference championship game. And then even after that, the possibility of one of them making the college football playoff. Like, that would just be awesome. That'd be awesome for year one. There's throwing the football. I mean, it's exciting times. It's exciting times right now. We have Oregon and Illinois. Oregon's favored by 22.5 at Oregon. Do you think they cover the spread? Do you think they cover the spread of 22.5? Like, that's taking a shot at Illinois and what they've done this season.
It is, but we're talking like Oregon's a track team, right? Like, this is what they do. They score points. And I'm not super impressed with Illinois' offense to keep up. So I don't think they ultimately do. I might be like unfortunate, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think they do enough offensively, and it's just hard to stop them.
This is true. I mean, they have decent DBs back there for Illinois, but this is an impressive passing game for Oregon there. So, I mean, they have Oregon doesn't have a great defense, so I guess they have that possibility going for them, right? They have that possibility. But outside of that, I mean, Oregon is just all around. Oregon could, in some eyes, actually be the best team in the country. Like, if you really put it onto paper and look at these teams against each other, they could be one of the best when it's all said and done. So it's going to be really crazy once they start coming out with that college football playoff rankings to see where they think about Oregon versus like Texas and Georgia and all them other teams there. So we have BYU. This is an interesting one. BYU, number 11 in the country, sitting there at 7-0. They're favored by 2.5 against, they're not favored. They're actually not favored. UCF coming into this one at 3-4 is favored by 2.5 against BYU, who's number 11 in the country. I was looking at some of the guys if somebody was hurt. I don't know if a lot of guys are hurt for this roster right now, but wow, that was baffling to me.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to pull up too, because I did see that, looking down the slate of games for tomorrow as far as the picks. I don't know either. Like, I'm trying to like almost figure it out. Let's just see one thing here. As Otani pops out. BYU. Let's see.
I know their quarterback's playing. I know he's playing. I looked that up. He's playing, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if the coach is not showing up, if they're missing 3/4 of the team outside of the quarterback. I have no idea. But at 2.5, you're not even favored in this game over a team that's 3-4.
Yeah, and they've lost 4 in a row. Like, they started out 3-0, that UCF team did. So, skeptic. Quarterback says he's unfazed with the skeptics. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, that's just weird. There's like no definite reason to why they're underdog. I don't That's weird. Like I see that scares me. If I'm like betting on that game though, I'm probably maybe like an alternative spread and taking UCF by like +3 or something because it's like I feel like they'll win because it's just weird.
Yeah.
But like I can't just pick them to win because like BYU has played better. Oh man, oh man, Betts hit it to the wall. I mean, he took that thing for a ride, but yeah, kind of some. I don't know. The Dodgers are connecting on Cole a little bit early. They're swinging at stuff early too, so they might be seeing something, or they're just anxious and getting ready to go.
Getting fired up. You got to come out early swinging, right? You don't want to get the deep counts against Garrett Cole. Don't let him get ahead in the guns. So
no, he'll put you away if you do that. Unfortunately,
yeah, 100%. So we got a couple other big games. We got, I don't know if Missouri, Alabama is going to be a big game because I believe quarterback for Missouri is not playing in that game. I'm just interested in the storyline of Alabama to see what the heck they show up with this week. They are favored by 15.5, but this is a struggling program right now. So I'm interested in that one. Texas, Vanderbilt, number 25 in the nation. Vanderbilt didn't think they'd ever be to this point, right? Taking on number 5 Texas, coming off of a loss to Georgia. What do you think?
It's tough, right? It's tough. Like
Texas is favored by 18. They've given them 18 in this one.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly surprise me. I mean, to Vanderbilt's credit, beating out like that's a marquee win. Beating the Crimson Tide, like that's no one had that on their bingo card, right? Yep. I don't know. I mean, Texas is a different animal. I know they got kind of housed by Georgia, but I don't know. I just think Texas this year, obviously, even like, you take quarterback out, put Arch Manning in, like, I just think Texas the talent is just there's a big disparity in talent. As Freddie Freeman has a triple. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but
that ankle ain't feeling bad anymore. He's rocking.
Wow.
He's rocking.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, I just, as much as Vanderbilt's played good and played above their pay grade this year. We talk about the transfer portal being a negative. In this aspect, the quarterback Diego Pavia, I think I'm saying that right. The New Mexico State transfer there. He's played well, and that common sense 101. Your quarterback plays well. You play well usually, but I mean Vanderbilt's not that's James Franklin. Before Penn State, that's where he was at. So I don't know if they were like decent under him, like they were ripping off wins every year, but I don't know if they've had much success since then. You don't hear about them, that's for sure. So I like seeing programs involved that are kind of not down on their luck, but they're just not massively successful by any means. So I would love to see it. I think Texas is just, they have too much, like it's just, you're kind of the men versus the boys at some point, right?
Yep. No, I agree. I agree with that one there. One last big matchup before we move on. LSU, number 8 in the country, taking on Texas A&M. That's going to be at College Station there in Texas. I like Texas A&M. They're favored by 1. They're giving them 1 right now. I like Texas A&M to cover the spread. I think they'll cover the spread in that one. I think they'll take that game. Give me Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Texas A&M, to their credit, like they've had a great season, and I don't know. I mean, the LSU thing with Brian Kelly, it hasn't. I mean, I know it's still early in his tenure, but I think people had higher expectations there than what you're getting so far. The one loss on the year, can't complain about that, but you look at who they've played since that loss to US, and really USC. Like first game out of the gate, that's tough. I get that, but you were at home, so I don't know. How that's not a great loss, right? And like I said, I mean you barely beat South Carolina. I know Bama barely beat South Carolina, but you sneak one out against Ole Miss. That's a good win, but it took over. It took everything. So I don't know. I mean, I just think Texas A&M probably top to bottom is a little bit better. I mean, they housed Mizzou a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to see who else they've really that only loss coming to Notre Dame, which is weird. But they've played good ever since then, and they're putting up pretty good points defensively too. Like they're not giving up a lot. So I look for them to keep LSU's offense in check. and that's another tough place to play. I think they pack like 100,000 in that place at College Station. So yeah, I hopefully Johnny Manziel rings the bell or something, right? I mean, the guy's like a god there, so you got to bring him out for a game like this.
Got to. So I mean, it's gonna be a great weekend in college football. We didn't get to all the games, but we're already running long. We already talked. I mean, we always run long. That's just how it is. But we didn't get to all the games, but gonna be a lot of great college football games this weekend. So with that, we got to get over. We got our guy Hunter here. He's gonna give us our little bit of college hockey preview for the weekend there for Wisconsin. So we're gonna jump to him. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, welcome to this weekend's preview for the Badger hockey teams. Let's get started with the men's. They played number 1 Denver this week. Denver is the defending national champions. Mike Hastings, the Badgers head coach, and Denver's head coach, Mark Carl. They are number 1 and number 2 among active head coaches in win percentage. Mike Hastings has a 712 win percentage, and David Carl has a 696. Last time that they met in a game between each other was the 2022 National Championship when Denver came back from a 1-0 deficit in the third to win 3-1. Wisconsin is 1-3 to start the year. Badgers have dropped from 10th to start the year, 16th, and now they're 20. Not doing good. Denver's Carter King had 5 points last weekend, 3 goals, 2 assists against number 19 Northeastern. Denver is averaging 5 goals a game, and Wisconsin is averaging 1.8, almost 2. Now on to the women's. The women's is playing Bemidji State. Shout out Hunter Damon, Bemidji State legend. Wisconsin is going to recognize 4 former Badgers this weekend and part of the PWHL Minnesota Frost champions of last year. Natalie Butchbinder, Melissa Chanel Watkins, Sophia Kunin, and Sis Polson prior to Friday's game. Badgers enter the weekend with a 13-game win streak against Bemidji State, and they're also averaging 6.9 goals a game this year, and Bemidji is averaging 1.8.
Always great stuff there from Hunter on the hockey front. He is, I mean, if you want to talk about hockey, talk to him. He's all the time, all hockey. He is fantastic. We love his stuff. So great stuff there from Hunter. Aaron, we got our fact of the day. We got to get our fact of the day out there for the people. So what do you got for our fact of the day for October 25th?
I'll give you. Can I give you a birthday of the day first? Can I?
Birthday of the day. We got to have it. Okay. Who's famous that was born on this day?
Pop singer. I think she's from Pennsylvania, believe it or not. I think Pittsburgh area. Katy Perry is birthday today. So
wow.
Happy birthday, Katy Perry. Not a person you hear about that much anymore, but
yeah, I don't care about Katy Perry, but I guess happy birthday.
I mean, just had to sprinkle in there. Now, can I give you a sad fact of the day? This is pretty brutal, but
wow, how sad or how brutal are we talking right now?
It's gruesome.
Don't go. Wow. Gruesome.
All right, I'll tell you that one off air. We keep it. Not that it's not family friendly. Stuff like that happens, but the facts on this day aren't that great. But here, nevertheless, the original American horror film Halloween, right? Halloween, famous movie, premiered in Kansas City, Missouri on this date in 1978. Excuse me, 1978. So that's like I said, it was kind of slim pickings for it was a lot of weird stuff today. A lot of weird, not so great things happened on this day in history, but yeah, there's your the Halloween premiered on this date.
There we go. Now we know. Just an odd day for facts of the day that most of them we don't want to read on air. So great stuff there. Great stuff as always in our fact of the day. Let's get over to a matchup that we care about coming up this weekend here, and that is the Green Bay Packers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville 2-5, you wouldn't think crazy team. They're not I don't want to say they're a good team. Jacksonville has had their own problems this year, but Jacksonville's not a terrible team. This isn't a bad football team. This just looks like a bad football. I mean, you look at Jacksonville, 3-point loss to the Dolphins on opening week. Then you look at the Browns game. Yes, they lost to the Browns. They lost by 5 points. Look at the Bills game. They got destroyed. But then you look at that game at Houston. They lost by 4. You look at the game to the Bears, 35-16. Not great there. But this isn't a terrible Jacksonville team. So this isn't a team that you can overlook if you are the Green Bay Packers, right? But you're looking at this game, and, we were talking about trap game for the Penn State Nittany Lions coming to Camp Randall. Well, you have the Jaguars, but then you have the Lions on the backside of that. And then you have the Bears. And then you play the 49ers. And then you have the Dolphins with Tua, so a little bit better, right? And then you have the Lions again. This game feels like a must-win game for the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if it's, a lot of people may argue with me it's not that much of a must-win game, right? Look at the backside of this game. If you lose this game to Jacksonville, and then you have the Lions, and then you have your bye week, and then you play the Bears, you don't want to go into your bye week. Let's just say they do lose to the Lions. I hope they're going to beat the Lions, but let's say they lose to the Lions. You lose to Jacksonville and the Lions, and then you go into your bye week. Wow. That's not a great lead up to the bye week. If you win this game against Jacksonville, which you should, but if you win this game, avoid the trap, right? Go play Detroit. I hope that you win, but we saw what they did to Dallas. This is a team in Detroit that got embarrassed on Thanksgiving by the Packers. You don't want another matchup like that. Lions are going to come in with that chip on their shoulder. So that's going to be a dangerous team in that game. I mean, Aaron, what are you thinking right now? Like, is this almost like a trap game for the Green Bay Packers because of the Lions on the backside, or are you not as worried about it? I'm worried about it because this is a must win. This feels like a must win to me for the Green Bay Packers. Like, it can't slip up.
I think in some capacities you can make the case, yes. I mean, maybe I think you guys, maybe you lose the one next week to Detroit, maybe. That's just that's a coin flip game to me. And then I still think I wouldn't be surprised seeing you guys beat. I know it's division, and even you bring up those Jacksonville games, Jacksonville, Houston, that's division. So it's things get dicey there, division wise. It's just for whatever reason in the NFL. But I say, I don't go as much to say it's a must win because I think you beat some of the better teams there. Even if you drop a weird game like this, I think the only trap game part of it is Jacksonville needs to win, right? Green Bay doesn't need to, their season's not going to end if they lose. Not that Jacksonville's won't, but it puts even more this has been an underwhelming season for the Jaguars. So at 2-5, you sit there and think, oh my God, we go to 2-6. That's, almost nail in the coffin time. I mean, barring a winning streak, that's nail in the coffin. So, I mean, that's the only reason I would say it's a trap game is just sometimes I'll look at games I'll pick that team because they absolutely need it more. And sometimes that works. So, yeah, I mean, that would be my only fear as the Dodgers get out of a jam, still 0-0 there. But, yeah, would I be shocked if the Jaguars win this? No, it's at home. It's a game they need to win. Green Bay's above and beyond the better team right now, at least, or this season. So yeah, I mean, trap game for the sake of they need a win, and the Packers I hate saying can afford a loss, but they can, they have a cushion at least as far as they're not 2-5, right? They're on the flip side of that. So
no, I agree. I mean, it feels like one of those games, right? It feels like a must win just because of what's on the backside, and you don't want to set yourself up in a bad position. You just watched the Minnesota Vikings game last night, which I want to get into a little bit here, but we just watched Minnesota lose last night to a Rams team that played very well. So you don't want to get in the situation. You have a chance now where you could be ahead of the Vikings coming out of the weekend. So this is a game that just feels like you got to have it because the Lions are on the backside. You want to set yourself up in a good position when you do play the Lions. You can afford a loss there because then it doesn't set you back too far. So I guess that's kind of where I'm looking at this one here. I mean, let's look at Jacksonville. Let's look at this Jacksonville team coming into this one, struggling on the season. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, the book is still out there on Trevor Lawrence. Nobody knows what they want to think on Trevor Lawrence. He does actually, I mean, I looked at his stats there. He loves the deep ball. He loves the deep ball. He actually leads. I think he's at the top in all quarterbacks there for 20-plus yard completions on the season. So limiting that is going to be a big thing for the Green Bay Packers. Don't let Trevor Lawrence get in a groove where all of a sudden he's just launching balls left and right. So that's where I'm watching that kind of scenario there. So I'm watching Jair Alexander taking on Brian Thomas Jr., the young guy there for the Jacksonville Jaguars, controlling him, kind of limiting what Trevor Lawrence can do in that deep ball game there. That's something I'm watching for. I mean, what do you think about Trevor Lawrence right now? What we've seen out of him? I think the book's still unwritten. I'm not giving up on the guy like some other people are. I think he's got talent at the quarterback spot. I think he's in a bad situation right now. But what are you thinking on Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to kind of the Philadelphia days with Doug Peterson. It just I haven't watched them enough to like fully see, are they running the same variations of plays over and over and over? Like that's what Doug Peterson fell into the trap of in Philadelphia. I thought Doug Peterson would be good for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, coming from an Urban Meyer that didn't care whatsoever, it can't get worse, right? It really could not get worse for him. So I thought Doug Peterson was going to be a good thing. I don't know. Maybe the book is still out on Doug Peterson, right? Like he had Nick Foles, just kind of pull something out of his rear end to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that was kind of just like madness, right? I don't know. I mean, everything worked, but like, is Doug Peterson, Sean McVay or like one of these offensive genius? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of remained to be seen. But I mean, yeah, you look at it like the stat line for Lawrence. I mean, 62% completion, which isn't like, it's not horrid, but it's not. I mean, you want it to be better, but it's not horrible. But 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, quarterback rating of 92.3. Let's see where he's at in QBR. 7th in QBR. I mean, I can't hate on the guy. 7th in QBR on a team that, I mean, he doesn't have a good line. That's one thing. I have seen them play enough to say that when I see him play, he doesn't seem to have time, really. So, and his receivers, for whatever reason, that team drops the ball. Like, I don't know if they don't practice catching the ball or what it is, but they have, like, stones for hands sometimes when I'm watching them. So, I mean, I don't – of all the guys, people, like you said, there's guys writing him off. And, there's the Daniel Jones comparisons, like, with the stats and stuff like that. But, I mean, I think in the right situation – like, you put Trevor Lawrence – I mean, granted, it would be an amazing situation, but, like, on the 49ers the last couple of years, like I think you get a Super Bowl out of that. So on a good team, he could be like on the Lions, right? Would it be a huge step down from Jared Goff to go to Trevor Lawrence? Probably not. I don't think so. I mean, that might be crazy to say, but I've been a Trevor Lawrence fan, so maybe I'm objectively saying that, but I think he's been in a tough situation, and then it's gotten somewhat better at times, but it's hard to win. I mean, look at Jacksonville. They've never really done anything. So can't really put it all on him, at least. He's good enough to where I trust giving him a second chance somewhere. Like if somebody needs like the Raiders need a quarterback, maybe with Brady's influence or something, they go get Trevor Lawrence down the road or something. Like I maybe not in Jacksonville he gets it done, but he's not a lost cause, I'll say that, in my opinion.
No, not by any means. I agree with you there. So, I mean, looking at this Jacksonville team, they have a couple guys on the edge there for them. Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. Both are among top 15 edge rushers in quarterback pressures combined for 8.5 sacks this year. So it's going to be a lot on what can the tackles do for the Green Bay Packers in this one to kind of keep them guys out of the backfield, let Jordan Love have his time, and trying to expose a Jaguars defense, a secondary in the Jaguars that ranks 31st in pass defense. So it's going to be about protecting Jordan Love to expose what is wrong in Jacksonville. Also, I mean, you look at a team in Jacksonville, they have, I believe, 3 takeaways on the seat. Like they're not a turnover team, right? Jordan Love in this game, this is one where you expect him to play it clean, play a clean game in this one, make the right throws, make the right decisions, do the little things in this game to succeed. That's something I'm keeping an eye on because you're talking about a team in Jacksonville that doesn't play well against the pass. Jordan Love should, have a field day, hypothetically, against a Jaguars defense like this. So you're hoping to see something like that. I mean, it's going to come down to the trenches like it always does, right? Every game comes down to the trenches. What kind of tone do the Packers set in this game? I think a big thing's going to be just pulling away, right? Just pulling away in this one. Don't let the Jaguars have a breath in this game here. You set the tone early. You take care of your business. This is like a business trip. You take care of your business. You go back home, and then you play the Detroit Lions. Like this should be a game where you fine tune some things, get it ready for the Lions, and then that's it. That's it in this one. So I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Pretty cut and dry, this one here. I want to see a good game out of the pass rush for the Green Bay Packers last week against the Texans. I loved what I saw. They were deploying Rashawn Gary in different ways, having him come up the middle at times. I want to see what Jeff Hafley has drawn up this week. What do you think of? And okay, before we get there, I want to get our score predictions here. I'm thinking like a 31-17 game. I'm going to go 31-17. Packers win this one against the Jaguars. What do you got?
See, like this is like that one team that like I've picked them to win every single I don't know what it is. Like I end up picking them and they lose. Like it makes no sense that they would win. It really other than that they need this game. You know what? I'm gonna go against them because I just think this game to me is like is the train completely off the tracks because if they lose this game, you're to make the playoffs at 2-6 is, come on, that's unlikely at the very least. Let me see who they play after this. Oh, they play the Eagles next. So anything's fair game then. Of course they do, right? Oh my God. But yeah, I'll say Packers win this. I'll say it's closer just because Jacksonville strings together like a fourth quarter that's, they're pushing for it. So I'll say it's a field goal game, which is crazy, but I'll say like 36-30, 33 is weird. 37-34. I'll just say weird shootout, just a lot going on, maybe turnovers on both sides, like just kind of like a sloppy game.
Yep.
Because Jacksonville's just trying everything, but they fall short and the Packers get the win there.
Okay. So what I was going to get to, Robert Saleh is now in Green Bay. More of a fluid role, right? He's helping Matt LaFleur out with the offense, showing him like defensive perspectives, what defenses might see in his offense that they might try to exploit, different things like that. I love the move. I loved him. I loved the decision by Matt LaFleur to bring him on. He just said, hey, you don't got nothing going on right now. I get if you just want to sit home and do nothing. But if you want to come here, you got a place here. He comes in. You see him at practice. I mean, I like the move. I like the move. It's not I heard, and honestly, I might think it's true. Colin Cowherd was talking about it, and he said this was just one last FU to Aaron Rodgers. Like, he gets fired. Aaron Rodgers gets him fired out there, and we know about Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. So then he's like, here, Robert, come over here. Come take this role on my football team that nobody else has, and it's not even a thing. But come take this role on my football team. Like, hey, dude, like I know that they're friends and everything like that. I get that. But it almost feels like one of those things, too, where it's like, screw you. I'll take him. We'll find a role for him here in Green Bay. So what do you think of the move by the Packers bringing in Robert Saleh as more of like a consultant, if anything?
Oh, I loved it, too. I mean, I'm honestly a little envious of it. If it was up to me, Vic Fangio would be out the door and Robert Saleh would be the Eagles defensive coordinator right now. Like literally right this second, I would make that happen. So yeah, when I saw that, I saw you posting about it. I think that's where I saw it first, actually. And I was like, yeah, I love that for you guys. I love that. I think the guy's a defensive, I don't know if he's a wizard, but he's he's a defensive mind, right? He made he came into a mess of a Jets situation, and they were the second ranked defense, I think, in the league when he got fired. So whatever he can, talk to you about defensively or, what an offense can do against this. I just think that's only helpful. And who knows, you might see the defense play better even, you know what I mean? I just, as an advisor, are you kidding me? I don't know why. Maybe he gave him an offer he can't resist financially. I know he's making he's making bank to not be the head coach, which is that's the silver lining. And I love that for him because, literally Aaron Rodgers was probably like, I hate this guy because he tells me what to do and I don't want anybody telling me what to do. So, I ultimately root for Saleh no matter where he get. I didn't like him in San Fran. That's because I don't like anybody in San Fran. But with the Jets, I had no ill will against him whatsoever. And I think as a defensive mind, I think he'll end up somewhere. Who knows? Maybe he'll stay with the Packers another season or something. But the league would be missing out if somebody didn't hire him as defensive coordinator. Maybe he goes with like Harbaugh to the Chargers, like just somewhere completely different. Just somewhere, you know. But yeah, he's always been like no matter where he's been, the defense has been good. So that's a good sign, obviously.
And you like it for him to work with Matt LaFleur so closely in an offensive room. Is he's so great with the defense, but now you're learning with Matt LaFleur too. You're learning alongside Matt LaFleur. So now LaFleur's teaching you a thing or two about offensive football too. So he's getting those little tidbits from him too, which we know Matt LaFleur's a great play caller. He already knows how to run a defense. You kind of like having a jack of all trades kind of guy. So I love it for Saleh too. I love it for Saleh. I love it for the Packers. It's a great move all the way around there. So we like the Packers coming up this weekend. There should be a good game, right? We hope it's a good game. Every game's a good game, but it's probably, hopefully, a Packers blowout. We're just talking about a blowout here on Sunday. So, Aaron, let's get to our picks real fast here. Let's get to our picks. We're getting close to the end here, the hour 30 mark. So let's get to our picks real quick here. We got the Eagles and the Bengals coming up 12 o'clock there from Cincinnati. Bengals are favored by 2.5 right now. What are we thinking?
Oh, man, this feels like a trap game to me. Like, I don't know. It's not even a trap game. They're favored, right? But it feels that's like the famous words of our podcast today, trap game. It's just going to be stuck in my head all night. But Bengals desperately need this one, right? 3-4, sitting in an AFC North that is highly competitive between Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I mean, Cleveland's pretty much shot unless they find a way to get Flacco off the Colts and into the Browns. But it's I guess 4-3 is bad with the Eagles too. Like that feels like some tension with Sirianni there if you go 4-3. But I guess I'll go. I'm hesitant, but I'll go Eagles in I'm talking like a 3-point game. This is, if they do in fact win, it's going to be a grinded out type of game. And I think the Eagles defense can do enough. They're so Jekyll and Hyde to me, though, that I never know what team's going to show up. If the good Eagles defense shows up, which I think it will, the Eagles get the win here. They're usually pretty good against the Bengals, it seems like, for whatever reason. So I'll lean Eagles like 36, like 30 or something like that. I think this will be a shootout of sorts, but then the defense will do just enough.
I think the Eagles – if it's a shootout, the Bengals win. If it's a shootout, the Bengals win because I take Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts. Now, the defensive front for the Bengals sucks. So if it's Saquon Barkley versus Joe Burrow, I like it a little bit better. So I think it's going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be an offensive game. I could see it definitely being upwards of the total. The total's at 47.5 right now. I could see it being upwards of the total here. I'm going to take the Bengals at home to get to 4-4. They're going to get the 4-4, and then it gets kind of weird there with the Bengals to see what they're going to do the rest of the way. Ravens, Browns, this one's pretty easy, I guess. It's in Cleveland, but I'm going to take the Ravens to win that one. I do pray for Jameis Winston to have a good game, though.
Yeah, Jameis is a good dude. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you saw the clip of him, like, being pastor-like about Deshaun Watson. Like, that was just something only Jameis Winston would do, right? But you got to appreciate him for that. And, yeah, I mean, the Ravens, I mean, as we were on the podcast earlier and Jarrett said, like, Ravens are, to me, they are a serious Super Bowl contender with the addition of Derrick Henry was, like, when they did it, I was scared of that. And, I mean, it's proven true so far. So, yeah, I mean, by far, especially, I mean, not that Deshaun was giving you much. I mean, Jameis might give you more. This could be a game where like they shock it's a division game, but it's Ravens are above and beyond the better team. It's just, and then especially losing Amari Cooper, but crazier things have happened. I think maybe Jameis keeps them in it. If he doesn't chuck up like 3 interceptions like he likes to do, but unfortunately, not my favorite team, but the Ravens do get the win.
This is a big spread in the next one. Lions, Titans. Lions are favored by 11. 11 going into this one. I mean, I think they're going to cover. I really do. I think they're going to cover. I just think that's a crazy big opening spread for an NFL game. Like you don't normally see, like the Ravens are favored by 8 over 8.5 over the 1-5 Browns, who don't even know what they are at this point. And then you see the Lions favored by 11 over the Titans. I think they cover. I think the Lions win this game at Ford Field.
At Ford Field, it's the end. Like with Dan Campbell, I don't doubt that he can motivate him for a game like this. If it was some other coach, you never know. But Dan Campbell is a great motivator. The Lions are hot. They're playing good right now, especially after that Dallas win. That was like 2 weeks ago, I think, already. But that really did. Dallas is kind of not that great, but I mean, they absolutely kicked the doors in on them. So yeah, I mean, let me see here. Maybe they might be coming off a bye week too, if I'm not mistaken. There. Oh no, beat the Vikings. Yeah, beat the Vikings last week. That's a good win right there, just because of how the Vikings have sat this year. But yeah, definitely leaning Detroit. Cover the spread. I get nervous about the NFL spreads because crazy things happen. But and I do kind of pull for Will Levis, but the Titans are kind of a hot mess. So
agreed with that one there. Miami gets Tua back. He's coming back for this one against the Cardinals. Miami's favored by 4 right now. It's going to be interesting to see how they deploy Tua. What they try to limit him into doing. If it's quick throws, what's going to happen there? I like the Dolphins to win this game, though. I think they're going to get it right in this game here. You never know what you're going to get with the Cardinals. One game they could play, it's like, oh my gosh, this team could probably win their division. And then the next game, it's like, what is this team? So I like the Dolphins in this one against the Cardinals.
100,000% agree. I think Tua being out there, I mean, not wearing the what do they call that cap? The skull cap? I forget what the more protective helmet that they introduced this year.
Yeah. The Guardian.
Yeah, when he said I'm not wearing that, I was like, I mean, it's your decision. He said it's free will. That's exactly right. He couldn't be more right. But I'm just like, dude, at least you would think you'd take the precautions, but his melon, not mine. Like you said, the Cardinals there. I like you never know what team's showing up, and then. I mean, Kyler Murray can be baited into turnovers. I think Tua just coming back, being out there, even, maybe limited in what they're going to, run with him there. I still think he'll have a coming out game to a certain degree, right? Like he'll play good enough. And like just the fact that he's back in there, Dolphins will rally around that. I love Tua as a person. He's a great kid, but I just Cardinals, I mean, 3-4 is not, it's not horrible considering where they've been, but it's a vastly inconsistent team.
I agree 100%. We're running up in the end here, Aaron. Let's fly through these. We got Jets Patriots. Wow. I'm going to take the Jets. If they don't win this game, the Jet fans are going to lose their mind. Woody Johnson's going to lose his mind. The world's going to start on fire in New York. It's just going to be one of those days. I do think the Jets win this game, but I think it's a close one. I think it's closer than 7.
I agree. I'm right there with you. And whenever these teams play, if it's not a blowout, it's like a literal nail biter to the end. So New England's going to give you a good defense. That's usually what they do. Drake May, Case is still out. He's young, rookie season. But, I mean, like you said, MetLife might burn if the Jets lose this. I mean, you dropped to 2-7 with your savior and Aaron Rodgers. Not good times for the Jets.
No,
you have to win this game. You have to.
Yes, 1,000%. So last couple noon games here, we have the Falcons and Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, like absolutely zero weapons left in the room. I like the Falcons to win that game just because I don't know who Baker's even going to turn to at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, the same here. I'm pulling for Baker in the Bucs, but it's tough. I mean, Mike Evans out, Godwin out. That Godwin injury was just gruesome. Former Penn Stater, so I got to respect that. But yeah, he's constantly hurt. That guy is, unfortunately. So yeah, give me unfortunately the Falcons in that one.
Falcons to win that one. We talked Packers, Jaguars. We got the last noon game there, the Colts and the Texans. Joe Flacco, there he is. I think the Texans get right. They just got the Packers played a heck of a game against them. That was a great game there in Lambeau. I think the Texans get right in this game. They win that game against the Colts. I do think it's close. I think the Colts keep it close, but I think C.J. Stroud wins in sort of a shootout kind of game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you again. I think coming off that Packers loss, I should say, and being at home, just getting right, C.J. Stroud's going to come out like man on a mission type of deal. And they'll put the Colts away late. Yeah, I think Flacco played decently well, but they'll definitely put him away late.
All right, we got the 305 slate. We got the Saints and the Chargers to start it off there. Chargers favored by 7 right now. I do like the Chargers in that one. I'm going to take the Chargers to win that. It's not going to be a high offense game. Like, it's going to be a slow-paced run game kind of situation, but I like the Chargers.
Are they still? They're still trotting out Ritter, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for that simple fact, I mean, I gotta take Chargers. Better quarterback, in my opinion. I mean, Dennis Allen's not a bad coach, but I take Harbaugh over him, obviously. So give me the full package of the Chargers over the Saints there.
I like that one. I like that one there. Next up, we have the Bills Seahawks. This could be an interesting game because if the Seahawks lose this game, the Rams' door just got opened wide. Like, the Rams just came off a win against the Vikings. They got their weapons back. They look good. Now you get a Seahawks loss. Wow. I'm going to take Buffalo in this one. I'm going to take Buffalo to go on the road to win this game in Seattle. Buffalo's favored by 3 right now. I'm going to take them to cover the spread.
This is where I'll take the alternate route just because it's that 12th man, it's real, right?
This is true. This is true.
I think the Bills are just kind of due for, like, I know that's a cliche statement, but they've been playing good, but like going all the way out there. I think the Seahawks need this one basically to keep pace and things. So give me the Seahawks. It will be probably that close. I just look for maybe Josh Allen hasn't turned the ball over much at all this year. I think this is where at least he gives you 1 or 2. He's just kind of due for it at this point.
Okay. Next up, we have Panthers and Broncos. Surprisingly, the Broncos are 4-3. I've liked what I saw out of Bo Nix. He's actually been promoted to my fantasy league starting quarterback because Jane Daniels is out, so I don't have much else to play with. I had Baker, but I don't know about Baker because he's got no weapons left, so I don't know what to do with Baker. So I had Jane Daniels, and then Jane Daniels gets hurt, so now I'm down to Bo Nix right now, so I don't know what to do. I'm just flustered. Hopefully Bo Nix can light up. This is why I put him on there, because he's playing the Panthers. Favored by 10.5. Give me the Broncos. I don't know if they'll cover the spread in that game, but give me the Broncos to win that one.
It's hard to pick the Panthers at all, right? Like, no matter who they're playing, where they're playing, not a good team by any stretch. I mean, like I said, they probably get the number 1 overall pick again. They just get housed by a good Commanders team, but like 40-7 in the NFL is just not great. So yeah, give me Broncos. Bo Nix probably plays maybe his best game so far in this one, and yeah, I'm a Bo Nix fan. I just cannot take Sean Payton, so it's a mixed bag, but Bo Nix is definitely doing his thing.
Chiefs, Raiders in Vegas. As long as Max Crosby doesn't piss off Patrick Mahomes, it should be a close one. If he does, it's going to be a blowout. Give me the Chiefs. They're going to move to 7-0. I don't see this as being – the Raiders just don't have a quarterback to beat them, right? You would say this could be a trap or like some kind of one of those games, right, for the Chiefs where they go to Vegas and they just lose. I don't see it being possible. I just don't. They don't have a quarterback to beat them.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. It's still probably Aiden O'Connor. He got hurt or something. Who even knows, right?
At this point, who cares?
Yeah, the Raiders are. Oh man, that's a really tough to be a fan of the Raiders. I mean, especially if you made the move from you see them leave Oakland and now they go to Vegas and it's the same hot dumpster fire that it was. Who knows? Maybe with the Brady buy-in for ownership, things will eventually get better, but. Not anytime soon, not this season. I mean, Chiefs are kind of a flaky undefeated to me. I mean, say what you want, but they remain undefeated here. And they got DeAndre Hopkins now. It's just like the rich get richer. So yeah, definitely. I mean, if Chiefs lose this, I'll be shocked because especially like you said, you made a great point. Divisional game could be trapped, but we don't have nobody throwing the ball for the Raiders. So.
No, there just isn't a guy that I think that could beat the Chiefs. And if he does, hats off to you. Hats off to you, brother. This game was destined to be a lot better than what it is. The Bears and the Commanders. Jane Daniels having a heck of a season. You had your number 1 and 2 picks. You're like, this is going to be a ball game right here. We're going to see it all. Jane Daniels is hurt. It's in Commanders got a home game, right? It's a home game for the Commanders. I'm going to pull the upset of upsets just because I hate the Bears. Give me Marcus Mariota to win the game against the Bears. Just somehow, some way, Mariota just finds it in this game against the Bears and wins it.
Oh man, you talk about a battle of less evil, because I wasn't a Bears hater, but I'm a Caleb Williams hater. No other way to put it. But I can't root for Washington ever. So, man, O'Day, this is tough. Mariota definitely gives me like no confidence, basically, but he played well last week. Oh God, it's the battle of the evils for me for this. Give me the Commanders just because they're on some weird, not weird, but they're just on like this winning, like they're just on a hot streak, right? They just can't be stopped, basically. So even though Jane Daniels isn't there, insert Marcus Mariota. It's a close game, but I think Washington gets Caleb Williams to turn the ball over at least twice here, and they do enough to win, unfortunately, for my sake. But it's a no-win situation. I don't want Caleb Williams to win either. But it hurts me more because it's NFC East.
That's fair. That's fair on that one. This is an NFC East team that is kind of interesting right now. The Cowboys taking on the 49ers, Sunday Night Football. This game is going to decide whose season is over. Like, that's as far as I'll put it. If the 49ers lose this game, season over. Cowboys lose this game, season over. Like, that's what I'm putting on this game right now because both these teams are on the cusp of being out of it already. I'm going to take the Cowboys just because, I mean, 49ers are like weapon after weapon is going down, and they just don't have any answer for it right now. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this game. San Francisco is favored by 4.5 right now, but I hate saying the Cowboys, but I just think the Cowboys are going to win this game on the road.
Wow, that does surprise me a little bit. I'm gonna go Niners.
It's going to be a dogfight. Either whoever wins this game, it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, and Dallas is like, as much as San Fran doesn't at all impress me right now. I mean, Dallas coming off the bye week, so I give them that. Got hosed by Detroit last game that they played. San Fran at home, that's a tough place to play out there at Levi Stadium they call it, coming off the loss to the Chiefs. I just trust the 49ers to get up for this game more than Dallas. I think Dallas will get unglued if Dak throws a pick or CeeDee Lamb's not getting the ball. Like, they just have problems right now, and they can't run the ball at all. So, yeah, give me unfortunately, this is another battle of the evils for me, but give me San Fran, and honestly by like a touchdown in my opinion. But
last one, Monday night game, Giants, Steelers at home. I do not like the Giants' chances in this game at all. The line's at 6 right now. They're favoring the Steelers by 6. I think they're going to cover that. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a decent enough game against this Giants secondary. I like the Steelers coming out of this one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's hard to pick the Giants with that O-line with Daniel Jones. I think TJ Watt could have a field. What, he's still in there, right? I always think he's like injured or.
Yeah, he's still out. He's still running around. Trust me.
Yeah, like I always
tearing heads off.
Right. So yeah, I mean that Pittsburgh defense is their bread and butter. I mean, Russ Wilson looked pretty good last week. So, I mean, if Giants pull this one, I will tip my cap here because that is shocking. I mean, just to keep Daniel Jones upright is going to be a whole challenge. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh at home pretty easily, I would think.
I like that one. I like that one there. So, Aaron, anything else you got to wrap us up for the day?
Not really. Top 4. I mean, Flaherty's holding his own. He's gotten himself in some massive jams. But yeah, 0-0 Dodgers Yankees. Pretty good pitchers though. It's kind of flying by. But Rizzo's hitting 425 or. Oh my God! I thought you had a home run there. 425 or like 475 in the postseason, which is like how. But
yep,
that's gonna stop here in the World Series. So
the bats are gonna come alive at some point for both teams, and it's just gonna be just a bang fest at that point. There, it's gonna be boom, 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 back and forth. Holy crapola! So. Great show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight here. Should be a great weekend. I'm going to be down in Madison tomorrow there watching the Badgers Penn State matchup. Can't wait for that. Great weekend all the way around. Great show, Aaron, as always. you guys know where to find Aaron everywhere. Brutally Honest Sports. You find him all across. You find him on Twitter. You find him on TikTok. You find him on Instagram. You can find him anywhere. Facebook. Wherever you want to find this guy, search out Brutally Honest Sports. He's on there. You can find him. Great content. As always, when Penn State loses, he'll be crying. You can't wait for that one. So with that, for Aaron and myself, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you guys enjoy your weekend. But until we talk to you guys again on Sunday, see ya.